The Missouri Tigers earned their first ranked win of 2024 as they beat the Boston College Eagles 27-21. Let's talk about it.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank. If you're thinking about starting a business or know someone who is, check out Emprise Bank's SBA loans. It's always good to know your options, and they can be your partner in possible.
Welcome into the Mizzou That's Who postgame show here. I'm Tucker Franklin, hanging out with you guys, celebrating a 27-21 win over the Boston College Eagles. Super excited to be chatting this game. We're going to go through it, talk about some drives, talk about some stats, everything. Talk about how we're feeling heading into Missouri's first SEC game that they got coming up next week on the 21st against Vanderbilt. But we're going to be mainly talking this game against the Boston College Eagles. A game that, look, coming out of it, I think Coach Reed said this very well. Coach Carl Reed, he said he sent a tweet out after the game got done saying, when the expectation is to win, I'm paraphrasing here, not quoting it exactly, but when the expectation to win is to win, it turns into a relief more than a celebration. As a relief that the Missouri Tigers win 27-21 over a pretty decent Boston College team. I think that Boston College team is better than a lot of people are saying. I think Florida State is worse than a lot of people are saying now, too. If you were keeping your eye on that game during the Missouri game, they lost to Memphis. Tough things going down in Tallahassee. Tough scenes in Tallahassee. But I did think overall, we'll start overall, then we'll kind of dive into this game in a microscopic aspect of it. Good win. Missouri faced some adversity. Got to clean up some penalties. Got to get some things fixed on the offensive side of the ball. Overall, I thought the defense played well. There's two plays on the defensive side of the ball that you kind of think, man, the defense probably wanted those plays back, and they're both kind of busted. They're both busted coverage plays. Not kind of. They both are busted coverage plays. Things that is easily fixable. For this Missouri Tigers defense, did a really good job containing Thomas Castellanos, and we talked about that on the game preview. I'm a big fan of Castellanos. I think he's a fun quarterback to watch. I really do think that Boston College team is a pretty fun team to watch, and Missouri, kind of had some self-inflicted wounds with the penalties. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. The coverage errors, and Eli Drinkwitz said in his post-game press conference after the fact that it was cover 3 on that last little touchdown there that Boston College scored, and just kind of had eyes in the backfield. Same thing with the fumble and the big touchdown there, which was one of the weirdest plays that I've seen in my time watching football. And also, you had a 2nd and 59. That was also weird. So kind of a weird game all around for the Missouri Tigers. But look, you guys anticipate that. You guys expect that as Missouri Tigers football fans. But they do get the win, move to 3-0 on the season as they head into week 4 hosting the Vanderbilt Commodores. So they're in a good spot. I think that there are some things to fix, but the big thing is for me, as I look at this game, nothing is unfixable with this offense. Yeah, Brady Cook, would love to see him connect a little bit more. Everything is overthrown is what I've noticed about Brady Cook. He looks a little bit uncomfortable in the pocket. Just got to settle down. Get the ball to the playmakers. I think that might be a groove, maybe a game script thing that you can kind of help settle him in a little bit more. I don't know. You hope that your quarterback that's been there a little bit is a little bit more comfortable in the pocket than what he is currently. Would love to see him settle down, get some stuff going. Luther didn't get his first touch until late into the second quarter. Look, I don't know if that's that big of a deal because as I look at the box score over here, he had 6 catches for 117 yards, a touchdown on 8 targets. 74 yards after the catch for Luther, by the way. Nasty. He is electric with the ball in his hands. You got to get the ball in his hands. Thought that he played well, even though he was non-existent for a quarter and a half of the football game. Still the best player in the country, in my opinion. I think he's the best player in the country. But let's go ahead. Let's dive into the scoring summary here. Boston College kicked it off with a 14-play, 75-yard drive that took 7.5 minutes off of the game clock. Duran Bradley, 12-yard pass from Thomas Castellanos. They took a 7-0 lead. Missouri answered back with a 4-minute and 37-second drive that went 11 plays, 60 yards for a 38-yard Blake Craig field goal. Blake Craig was huge in this game. We'll talk about him here in a little bit as well. In the second quarter, Reed Harris caught a 67-yard touchdown pass for Thomas Castellanos. That was the eyes in the backfield on the fumble. It's all very weird. Very strange sequence of events. 4 plays, 86 yards, a minute and 32 seconds for the Eagles there. Blake Craig, 38-yard field goal, capped off a 10-play, 67-yard drive for the Tigers of 4 minutes and 50 seconds. Here's when Luther Burden got involved in, is after the field goal, Missouri actually gets an interception after the field goal, I believe. I'm going to go back and check this. I believe that that's right. They get that field goal to make the score 14-6 right after Boston College scores on that botched play. They make it 14-6. The next drive, Thomas Castellanos does throw an interception to Travarius Jones. Man, what a pick that was. Great interception. As I was watching the game, I was thinking, this Missouri defense needs to flip the momentum, because it did kind of feel like Boston College still had some momentum. It seemed like from the TV broadcast, where I could tell that it was like almost a little stale. It seemed a little stale in front of that sold-out crowd in Faroe. And I'm not saying it's the crowd's fault at all. I just felt like the team was a little bit flat. They get the interception, kind of kickstarts them a little bit there, as they do get a touchdown on a 3-play drive. Luther Burden capping off that with a 19-yard pass from Brady Cook. Nate Noel with the 2-point conversion. I really liked the play that they ran on the 2-point conversion. It is a wildcat play. Nate Noel under center. Well, behind center, I should say. He wasn't under the center. Behind center, gets the snap. Fake pitch to Brady Cook, who is out in the wide receiver motioning back in, and he just puts his head down, runs in for 2. I like that because there's so many different variations off of it. You can pitch it to Brady Cook, and Brady Cook can throw it again, or you can pitch to Brady Cook, and Brady Cook does something else, pitches it again. But the fake is always there. It looked like there might have been a tunnel as well that Nate Noel could have tunnel pitched to. So it looked like there's a ton that can go off of it, a ton that the Tigers can use in the future if they need some more 2-point conversion plays. But huge sequence of events right there after the interception. The interception really gained momentum for the Tigers, I think, heading into that touchdown to tie the game with the 2-point conversion, 14-14. Eli Drinkwitz said after the game in his post-game press conference that they worked too hard for that game not to be tied, right? So they kicked the field goal, you're only down 1 with about, let's see how much time was left in the game after that touchdown. 3 minutes and 4 seconds left in the half, I should say. 3 minutes, 4 seconds left in the half. You worked too hard to get back to even for it not to be even if you kick the field goal there. So I do love the aggressiveness on the 2-point conversion call. I also love the aggressiveness later on in the game when they go forward on a couple 4th downs. They get a good pass interference call. It was pass interference. And then they convert on the other 4th down. Aggressiveness there to kind of seal the game a little bit. I love Drinkwood's explanation of it as well. But we'll get there. We'll get there. I promise. But Missouri scores a touchdown. Ties the game up. The defense comes out there, forces a punt. Absolutely huge. And then Missouri gets the ball back, and they put Blake Craig into field goal range. And, boy, is it fun to have another big leg kicker? Ain't that fun, Missouri fans? Look, Missouri fans have truthfully been blessed with kickers. I mean, Andrew Baggett, Harrison Mevis, obviously. You can't that's Tucker McCann, some of them that come to my head, just off the top of my head. Like, kickers that have had some big legs and have hit some big kicks and some big moments. Blake Craig might be the next one. 56-yard field goal for him there to give Missouri the lead 17-14. Absolutely massive with how this game started, giving up the touchdown on the opening drive, the botched play, and you're now all of a sudden staring at a lead going into halftime. I thought that was a win. I thought they responded really well with how everything shook out for the Missouri Tigers. It was a good showing, a good response from a team that kind of struggled to get some stuff going early, but resilient. Again, that was a word that Eli Drinkwitz mentioned after the game on his interview with Alyssa Lang on the SEC Network. Is also what he mentioned in his post-game podium press conference. Just talking about how they responded to adversity. It's the first adversity they had all year, right? These are the first points they allowed all year. In their 3rd game of the season, they only allowed 21 points. And as I mentioned at the top of the show, a lot of those points, 14 of those points were mental lapses. They were easily fixable things. So you're looking at 7 points that the Boston College Eagles really worked for, and it was the first drive of the game. And we can't play that game, right? We can't play the what if game. But I'm just saying, like, everything on this team is incredibly fixable, from the penalties to the coverage lapses to, I really even think the synchronization with the offense. I think all of that is fixable. I'm not like too wildly worried about it. Like, these are things that we've seen with Brady Cook before, and maybe Brady Cook is what he is, but we saw it at the end of last year. It get fixed timing wise. It's just a tick off. They're just a tick off, and a lot of things. But let's go ahead, get into the second half scoring summary. Brady Cook, 6-yard run. That'd be crazy if Blake Craig has a 6-yard run for a touchdown. That would be insane. He had a good little move there, old Brady Cook, down there on the goal line to get into the end zone. Fun little play there as Missouri goes up 24-14 to cap a 9-play, 75-yard drive, 4.5 minutes. Was a long drive there. They go up 24-14, go up 10 points into the fourth quarter. Blake Craig extends the Missouri Tigers lead to 27-14 with a 31-yard field goal. That was a 14-play, 48-yard drive, 7-minute long drive. That was a trend for the Tigers. They were started to, in the second half, do these a little bit longer drives. They had a really good rushing performances from both Nate Noel and Marcus Carroll. Looking at the box score here, 22 carries. Jeez. 22 carries for Nate Noel, 122 yards, 121 net. Longest rush of 24. Marcus Carroll had 12 carries for 57 yards and longest rush of 17. So they got after it after the ground. I thought the offensive line was really winning at the line of scrimmage, and I thought that was huge. And I know I tweeted this out during the game at Tucker D. Franklin. You can follow me there if you want to, I guess, on Twitter. I tweeted this out. I know Missouri has a phenomenal wide receiver room, maybe the best in the country. Arizona's got a pretty good one. Ohio State has a pretty good one. It's up there. Top 3, at least. I think it's the best. Not biased. I think it's a pretty good wide receiver room. But they would run the football so well. Like, the offensive line was moving bodies. You almost had to ride that until it fell off, and then you can obviously easily hit on some deep shots if they're keying in on the run as well. But I like how they're running the football. I like how they've showed that so far this year. I've mentioned this play already a couple times. Final scoring play here. Kamari Morales catches a 38-yard pass from Thomas Castellanos to make it 21-27. That is your final score. 27-21. The Missouri Tigers over the Boston College Eagles. A lapse on that play. Drinkwitz again said in his post-game press conference that was cover 3, and you just had eyes in the backfield. Can't be doing that. Missouri does not cover, I believe. Let me see what this closed at. It looks like it closed at 14.5. I know some people got it at 16. I know some people were able to get it as low as 14 in some places, in some of the books around, but Missouri does not cover in any of those circumstances. Over under 51.5 does not hit as well. 48 points scored in this game. So if you had the over and Missouri to cover, I apologize because neither of those hit. So a couple of things here before we dive more into the stat sheet. One of the things that I was a little worried about coming into the final stretch of this game was what Missouri's offense was going to have to do after Boston College scored that final touchdown. After they scored that touchdown with, let's see, it looks like it was about 6 minutes left in the in the game. Yeah, 5:58 left in the game, or 3:45 left in the game. Excuse me. When Boston College scored that last touchdown, Missouri's offense had to move the football, and they had to play to win, not to lose, right? So I think sometimes we see a lot of teams in those situations, and even Missouri teams in past have played not to lose in those situations, not playing to win. I thought Drinkwitz did a really good job. Look, I mean, they didn't do anything spectacular there, right? They didn't do anything crazy. They ran the football, and they ran the football well. Let's go past Luther Burden on a third down, 11-yard pass there. They were very smart with how he ran the ball and how they threw the ball on that drive, knowing that they needed to bleed the clock down to the 2-minute warning. Once the 2-minute warning hit, Boston College had to burn their timeouts, and they knew that they had to keep the clock running. Brady Cook seals it with a little run, little read around the edge. I like it when Brady Cook's legs are going, and I really do think that helps him in terms of getting things going, right? I think Brady Cook needs to run the football to feel comfortable in a game, to get rhythm, and to feel like he can connect with Luther downfield. To connect with Luther. Yeah, connect with Luther as many times as you can. That's what I'm trying to say. Theo Weiss with Marquise Johnson. Josh Manning made a good play in this game. I think, man, he's looking really, really nice. I've been very pleased with his development and everything there. It's Jacob Peeler, man. It's Jacob Peeler effect right there. He looks good, and I am excited to see him come on this year, come up in big plays, kind of like Marquise Johnson did last year, right? Like Marquise Johnson played really well in the limited opportunities that he did get for the Missouri team. And he took advantage of every opportunity that he had. Love to see Joshua Manning, Lee Summit kid get in there, get after it. Awesome to see there. But I did like how Missouri's offense got after it to ice this game. They did not give Boston College a chance to win this game. After they pulled within 6 points, Missouri took the ball, didn't give it back. You want to end the game with the ball in your hands. They did it there. Was impressed with that. Now we can talk about some stuff that I wasn't super impressed with, right? With this Missouri Tigers offense. I think on the defensive side of the ball, they played well. Maybe let's get the defensive side out of the way because I don't have too many thoughts about the defensive side of the ball. I thought that they played well. They had to adjust after that first drive, right? Because Castellanos, man, I like him. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's fun. A good college quarterback, I should say. I think Boston College is going to make some noise. I probably picked them to beat Michigan State. I mean, I've said it on our preview show. I've said it on the podcast a lot that I'm high on Boston College just with what they got going on there. I do like them a lot, and I thought the defense adjusted well to Castellanos' ability, only rushing 3 guys to kind of keep him in the pocket and make him make those choices and force him to make those mistakes. Like he threw 2 interceptions, right? And I think Missouri did a good job of forcing him to make mistakes, and that's a huge part of it. Thomas Castellanos, 16 for 28, 249 yards, 3 touchdowns. 2 sacks for him as well, and 2 interceptions. So Missouri did, like, they weren't heavily rushing the quarterback, right? I think you see this sometimes. If you're a Chiefs fan, you watch the Chiefs and Ravens game on Thursday night, right? And you saw Chiefs rushing 4 guys and then Chris Jones getting way upfield opening these lanes. You didn't want that to happen if you're a Missouri Tigers fan. You did not want that to happen. And it didn't happen because they started rushing 3. They were doing a mild spy. It wasn't like a huge spy. It's just like the man over the field was kind of looking at him, keeping his eye on him because the defensive line did a good job keeping him in the pocket, making him throw. I think he's a good thrower. I think he's a better thrower than a lot of mobile quarterbacks are in college football right now. But I just think that the Missouri defense did a good job of baiting him into making those mistakes, those 2 interceptions that he did throw really did change the momentum of this game. Trishawn Ward, 6 carries, 21 yards. Thomas Castellanos, 13 carries, 32 yards. A net total of 16 with the sack yardage added on because college does that for some reason. I don't know why. They shouldn't. It's dumb. 16 yards on the ground for Thomas Castellanos. So they didn't run the football very well, and that was a big thing too. Because if you watched Boston College's game against Florida State, probably not Duquesne because it's a sicko mode game, and it's also probably couldn't watch it, and they're an FCS opponent. But their game against Florida State, what they really did was they controlled the ball on the ground, and what Missouri did was force them to have to throw the football. Thomas Castellanos to make good choices throwing the football, and they couldn't really control the game like they wanted to. And Corey Batoon and company did a good job of doing that. 21 points is not... You win a lot of games by just allowing 21 points. You should win a lot of games in the SEC by just only allowing 21 points. But I like where the defense is at. I had a lot more questions with the defense and the offense coming into the season, and now it seems like it's flipped. But before we get into talking about the offense, got to give a shout out to friends at Home Field Apparel, man. I love those guys. I'm wearing the hoodie again. You guys already know the vibes. I'm wearing this hoodie on the podcast until the Missouri Tigers lose. Maybe I'll never take it off the podcast. Maybe I got to wear it every single episode of the podcast because Tigers are rolling. They got Vandy coming to town. Feeling good. Let me know your guys' thoughts on the game below, obviously in the comment section, and tweet me at Tucker D. Frankel. But gotta give a shout out to Home Field Apparel. We love them. We love working with them. They got great Mizzou stuff. They got great all kinds of stuff there. If you're just a college sports fan, they got you covered. Use code Mizzou24 for 15% off your first order at homefieldapparel.com. They got new corduroy hats there as well. They still got the K-Miss kickoff boxes as well for the Missouri Tigers. Go check them out. Mizzou24 gives you 15% off your first order. All right, let's talk about the offense. I think as Missouri fans, we had a lot of expectations. Let me back this up. I should only talk for myself. I can only speak for myself. As a Missouri fan, I had a lot of expectations heading into this season for the offensive side of the football. They have the best player in the country on their offense. They reloaded on the offensive line in the transfer portal. The left side of their offensive line is good. The offensive line's still good. Don't get me wrong. There's some miscues, right? There's some penalties. There's miscommunications. I thought Boston College was stunting really well, and then the pressures that they were sending were kind of slot pressures, and sometimes they were twisting, stunting, trying to do whatever they could to confuse the five guys on the Missouri Tigers offensive line. Overall, running the football, they can run downhill. They can block guys. They can move bodies. I think there needs to be some work in terms of passing off those games that the defense is running when it comes to different types of pressures. Again, fixable. Very fixable. The penalties is a problem, man. The penalties are a problem. I'm going to find it over here on the box score because I don't want to get it wrong. It is, I mentioned at the top of the show, obviously, Missouri did have that second and 59, excuse me. That is straight out of NCAA 25. Straight out of a video game. Those are unacceptable, man. Unacceptable. And I'm glad that the broadcast caught Eli Drinkwitz laying into Luther Burden because his two penalties, man, can't do that. You can't do that. I know you're the best player in the country. I know that you know that people know that you're the best player in the country, but you can't. I wish you could, truthfully. I wish you could take an opponent's mouthpiece and chuck it to their sideline. I wish you could do that. That would be sick. Can't, though, right now. I wish that you could, after a run after the catch, flick a ball into an opponent's face mask on their sideline. I wish you could do that. You can't. Also, both times in front of officials, let's have some better awareness there, Lou. I mean, love you, man, but, let's have a little bit better awareness. 8 penalties for 91 yards. I believe 5 of them, maybe, were on that drive? Again, I'm going to double check that. 8 penalties. 91 yards. That is unacceptable. You don't win a lot of football games doing that, right? So the fact that they won was good, but man, you got to clean that up. Eli Drinkwitz took accountability for it after the game. Some of them were procedural penalties. They've had trouble lining up, too. He also mentioned on the 2-point conversion that they had trouble lining up. You don't love that. But it's stuff that is fixable. Again, these penalties, it's not like they aren't fixable. And that's what saves me from hitting the panic button. Maybe I'm being too optimistic here. You can let me know in the comment section, tweet me, whatever. Maybe I'm being too optimistic here. I think I'm optimistic in nature, especially when it comes to Mizzou. Chiefs is a different story for some reason. But Mizzou, I want to be optimistic in nature. So I don't know why, but I do think that everything that I see from this Missouri offense is fixable. The deep ball stuff is so weird to me because we saw it last year, man. Like, we saw it. We saw it happen. I just don't know why it's not happening now. And it does, maybe it's a comfort thing because Brady does not look comfortable in the pocket. Any bit of pressure, I noticed this a little bit. I was texting some people about Brady's composure in the pocket just kind of seemed a little rattled anytime he had any sort of pressure. Any pressure, he was getting the ball out. He was getting the ball out, and they weren't very good balls, even on like short out routes. So like that was concerning to me for a bit there. But like you just can't be having the penalties, and the penalties luckily didn't cost them too much in terms of the game, which they could have. Especially if that second penalty on Luther is called unsportsmanlike conduct instead of just a personal foul. Luther's out of the game, man. Like, Luther is out of the rest of the game. That's tough. Like, if you're Luther Burden and you know you have 4 of those penalties, by the way, were on that drive where they backed up to a 2nd and 59. 4 penalties. 2 of them personal fouls. No, 3 of them personal fouls. Luther had 2 personal fouls, and then he had 2 on the play. Right? I might be wrong on that. Penalties were not good. I'll go back and look at the drive chart here. But again, all fixable. All very fixable things. Curious what you guys think about this Missouri Tigers win. You can let me know in the comment section. Obviously, tweet at me on Twitter. 24 unanswered points for the Missouri Tigers as they beat the number 24 Boston College Eagles. Good response to adversity overall. And look, I do think Coach Reed said it best. I know we started with this. I'm gonna kind of end with it, kind of a full circle type of moment. I do think Coach Reed said it best on Twitter. Carl Reed for 24/7. When the expectation is winning feels more like a relief than a celebration. I think that's what this game kind of felt like. This game kind of felt like a relief that they got out of here. Not necessarily that's not a bad thing. That if that's a relief that they won. It's good that they won. It's good that they remain unbeaten, 3-0 as they head into the start of their SEC schedule. But then they play UMass after this. So, well, not after this. You know what I'm saying. They got UMass coming up in the middle of their SEC schedule. Whoever scheduled that should be fired. Wait. All right, that's going to do it for Mizzou. That's who here at the post-game show. Let me know what you guys think of the Missouri Tigers win. Hit the like. Hit the subscribe. We'll be back at you this week with another Mizzou That's Who with Maggie Johnson. She'll be joining me. We'll be reacting to this game, looking ahead to the Vanderbilt game. That game is at 2:30 or 3:15 on ABC, ESPN, ESPN2, or SEC Network. So they're not committing to a whole lot of that game right now. But for myself, Tucker Frank, appreciate you guys listening all the way to the end of the podcast. That's going to do it. Make sure to like, subscribe. Hey, look, we're in a race. We're in a contest. We're in a race with the KCSN KU channel. We're behind in subscribers. Be a friend. Tell a friend. Buy bots. I don't know. Load it up. Load it up. We got to pass the KU channel when it comes to subscribers. So be a friend. Tell a friend, as Pat McAfee says, about the KCSN Mizzou page. I'm going to be doing the EA Sports College Football 25 Sims, too. I'll be doing a sim for the Vanderbilt game. That'll come out probably Thursday, Friday. I'll probably do that. And we will have that ready for you to watch on the KCSN Mizzou YouTube channel. So appreciate you guys listening as well on the audio podcast because of 5-star rating and review. Really do appreciate that there. Leave us a 5-star rating and tell me what your favorite part of Missouri's win and Missouri season so far has been, and I will read it on air on the next Mizzou That's Who. So that's going to do it. Appreciate you guys. I love you. We'll talk to you later.